Hey, what's up guys? So this video was filmed almost exactly a year ago, right when the decade ended and 2020 began. Unfortunately, the videos got lost in the shuffle and just never ended up getting published. But seeing as how 2020 was the least eventful year for movies ever, since nothing came out, what better time to upload these videos until now? They're still relevant. In this first video, me, Spencer, Camden, and Connor each pick our favorite movie from each of the years of the 2010s. This video is part 1, where we go through the years of 2010 through 2014. Part 2, which is the rest, will be uploaded next Tuesday. And then next Friday, we have a spoiler discussion of our favorite movies of the decade altogether, where we go super in-depth with it. So please enjoy over 3 hours of us talking about movies.
What's up, y'all? We're back. It's been a long time. Last you saw us, we were talking about Endgame.
I think together.
Yeah, last time you saw us, we were talking about Endgame, and now we're about to talk about more movies. So you better enjoy it.
As we all know, the decade is over.
Yep.
We had a bunch of good movies this decade. We had a bunch of bad movies this decade.
But we're only going to talk about the good ones.
Talk about the good ones. So this video, we decided to go with a fucking thing where we.
This movie.
First of all, this
Sponsored
isn't sponsored by anyone.
We don't have sponsors.
Okay, but
I'll sponsor you.
this video we're gonna talk about all of our favorite / best 2010s movies
Yes.
from the years 2010 to
2019.
You are so right, dude.
Which was last year.
Yeah.
A whole year ago.
Yeah.
Because now it's 2020.
Yes.
Do you think
And
anybody
so
will
here's
ever
the
say
plan.
that?
I remember when it was like 2010. That was like
The last-
everyone was
being
trying
like
to
a big
decide
deal.
whether to call it 2010 or 2010. And then by 2012, it was like, all right, it's 2012.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
is anybody gonna ever say 2020? I feel like that's
Probably.
wrong.
They'll get beat up for
2000. The term 2000 died in 2009 because no one called them the 2009 or 2008 or anything like that.
I still think 2010 I can do. Actually, no, I guess not, because that's fucking.
So this video, we're going to talk about our favorite movies from the 2010s. We go down each year. So 2010, we each pick one movie that we're going to talk about. 2011, we're each going to pick a movie, and so on. I guess the goal of this is to just
Expose you all to new movies that maybe you've never heard of, maybe you've been on the fence about seeing, and you just want to hear our takes on them. There are a lot of really great films that are kind of obscure that come to mind that we're going to be talking about today.
We also talk about a lot of popular movies as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just going to be like, oh, a snooze fest. And we'll be doing a part 2 to this podcast where we'll be talking about spoilers for certain picks. But right now we're just going to talk about the films.
This video will have no spoilers, so you're safe.
in their glory.
there's a lot of movies on here that we think deserve a spoiler talk.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's hard to dive deep into certain things without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that in a whole separate video.
Exactly.
For the 2010s, the 2010 of 2010s,
2010.
the year 2010.
2010.
2010.
2010.
You didn't hear that. Shut the fuck up. Let me just take you back. Okay.
Okay.
The year's
I'm imagining.
2010.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So this is how we're doing this?
Who won the King's Speech won Best Picture that
Yes.
year.
I didn't know that.
In
at the time.
February of 2011. So
Yes.
Oh, wow. So we're in
But-
2000.
Now we're in
so I
2011?
shouldn't know that.
Yeah.
not yet. No.
Okay. All right.
so
I'm
I
so
guess
excited
some-
to see what. Wait, I don't know why my eyes closed still, but
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited
You
for the
can't-
Oscars.
I can't wait to see because I can't right now.
I can't
you
wait to
just
see
came
it.
back from summer vacation and you're like, I need to go see a movie. And there's a certain one that just everyone was talking about. Chris.
Oh, I'm going first.
Yeah.
Known as one of the most original creative movies ever made, Inception. Plenty of people have seen it. It is extremely successful at the box office and critical reception for
Yes.
being an original idea. I think 2010, by 2010, we all kind of knew that things were just sequels and remakes at that point. We were all kind of complaining about that.
Yeah.
But
Or
Inception
adaptations.
is this big gem that took the world by storm, big budget movie. The Dark Knight came out 2 years before, so by this point, Christopher Nolan is beginning to become a household name. This is a movie that cemented his status as a legendary filmmaker.
What's cool about the 2010s in general is that I think it's known. It's sad because I think it will go down as the decade of like remakes and unoriginality. But I think it also had just like this one doesn't really fit it, but just like with A24 and just like independent movies also.
This was
Yeah,
definitely
just, like, a
the decade of.
resurgence.
This is the decade of indie filmmakers
Yeah,
for sure.
And then it's like every other decade because like '90s was like that too, and 2000s was not. But the because this will be known for like Marvel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what's cool about Inception is that it does both of those so well because it's so original and so successful. Every time someone asks me like, what movie or what kind of, because at home there's people are always like, what kind of movies do you want to make me? And I always think of Inception just because like it is super original idea. It's like pretty high concept too, and just like fucking dope.
It's got pieces of everything in it. It's funny, it's intense, action packed, it's a little scary at
can be
times,
emotional,
possibly.
yeah.
Very emotional as well. And it has probably my favorite ending of maybe anything ever, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's what it's known for. is
Yeah, the
amazing
ending, the final shot is honestly maybe the most like iconic final shot
yeah.
of the decade, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
I think Inception might, if we're just in terms of iconic, I think Inception might be the most iconic movie of this decade.
Yeah,
Possibly.
that or the Avengers,
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, it's.
I guess so.
As
I guess
a
in terms
single
of like
thing.
critically
As a
acclaimed too,
Yeah.
'cause I feel like it hits both of those so.
I mean, there's
high.
even the jokes of like, oh, this is like a cup within a cup, cupception.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's always
That's now a
jokes about that. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when movies are original and they perform really well at the box office, those tend to be the best movies just because they're new.
Yeah.
They're new ideas.
Yeah.
although a lot of my favorite films have been box office bombs. We'll talk about some more that later on in the decade that didn't really perform well at the box office, but I really liked.
I think your pick for this decade was kind of a bomb. Actually, I don't know if that's true.
I think it
I'll
was.
look it
I
up.
think it was. I think I know what you're talking
I'll
about.
look it up. Go ahead and talk.
What do you think
Yeah.
you're talking about? You know what your movie is.
No, I think yeah,
I think
because
we're onto something here.
yeah, the film that I'm talking about is a bomb. Or it's
I
not
was
a
trying
bomb,
to
but it's
segue
not
to
like
So go
you
ahead.
talking
All right.
about it. That was what I was trying to do.
my film, the film that I picked
Wow,
for this year.
Jeez.
This is not my favorite film of 2010, but I still fucking love this
Yeah.
movie. This
I think
is
Inception is all of our favorites.
it probably. I mean, it's between this
That's
and
a
another
Robert
person's
Oh,
pick.
yeah.
But the film that I'm choosing to talk about is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Holy fucking shit. If there ever was a great comic book adaptation, this is literally it. Edgar Wright shot a scene. Literally, he used like the comic book panels as like storyboards. And what's so crazy is they shot a scene where a certain character wasn't wearing socks. And then they checked the comic book, and he was wearing socks in the scene, so they reshot the scene so he'd wear socks just to be more like accurate to the comic book. It's fucking awesome. And it's basically like every nerd's dream in a movie. It's literally like, if you like video games, if you like anime, if you like just any like rock music, anything like that, it literally, like, this film covers it. It is so fucking awesome. So like, if you're a fan of movies in general or video games, like seriously watch it because it's just a good time.
I think Scott Pilgrim might just be like the most creative movie ever made.
It's
like the
very
most stylistic.
It's
like,
very
ever.
like the way that when they fucking beat the shit out of people, they explode into coins. Like
Yeah.
when he says like I need to go to the bathroom. You see him walk in, you see P bar, and then it's lowering when he's taking his piss.
Yeah.
My favorite joke in the whole film is when it goes into a wheel of things that Scott can say, and it spins. And it says, "I need to pee," and "I need to talk to her," but it goes right in the middle of the wheel. It says, "I need to pee on her." I need to pee. Like, that's so
I need to
great.
pee on her.
It's just a really good movie, and Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors. He's made a lot of my favorite films, but honestly, Scott Pilgrim might be my favorite of his.
I hate him.
He sucks now.
I'm not a big fan.
Honestly, it's between that and I really do like Baby Driver. I think that's a really good one. I probably still prefer Scott Pilgrim, but this is
Interesting.
it's very close.
Because Edgar Wright is very stylistic.
Yeah.
And it's cool because this is like his most stylistic movie.
Definitely. Connor, your turn.
That burp is the best segue for what I'm about to talk about, and that's Toy Story 3.
All right, Chris,
What
your
was
turn.
it?
Well, Inception, guys. And that's Toy Story 3. In terms of box office, complete opposite of a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Big
big
blow up. Big.
It's also
movie.
big summer one too.
Yeah, yeah. I remember going to the movie theater for this one specifically and being like, and just remembering why, like, wow, like this is like a cartoon, but it's like huge. And I've never, I think up until that point, that's when I started realizing how big, like, even kids' movies are. Like, I always thought that it's always just like the huge action adventure, like the Star Wars type stuff, but it's really, it could be anything. So that was pretty cool to start realizing that, because I was 10 when this came out.
Yeah.
So, I obviously wanted to see it. So.
Also, just like the final shot of it is just fucking cinematic gold.
I think this is
back up.
definitely my favorite, or I definitely know this is my favorite Toy Story. Just like the story's great. I love that it's like new. It's kind of, the first two kind of have similar premises, and then this one's a little bit different. But the final shot definitely, I think, is one of the most emotional shots in animation, for sure. Like, I love like when when that stuff happens.
Yeah, we'll talk about
I
it.
do
later.
know. We all know.
But yeah, I really like that movie. I know that I'm pretty sure this is the first like sequel in like after like the 2000s of Pixar. Like they made like Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then they started doing
Yeah.
sequels in the 2010s. I feel like this
Yeah.
is the first. I know this is the third one, but I consider the first and second one to be kind of like in their own way.
I don't think they did another
Like sequel.
They did
sequel.
Cars
sequel.
2 in 2011. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
So that was after this then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
this was
Toy Story 3
Toy
was like
Story
the
was
beginning of
Toy Story
sequels.
3
Was the first
only
wave.
sequel other than Toy Story 2. But
Yeah.
like the Toy Stories, it was just the Toy Stories, and now it's the Cars and the Findings.
Yeah.
The Findings. But
And
yeah,
the
this
Incredibles.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of the pathway. I mean, since this one did really well, that's what opened the door for all the other sequels to be made.
Yeah.
Because I never thought Incredibles would ever have a sequel.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Ended up happening. I mean, at this point, anything I feel like will make money sequel wise in Pixar's land. They could
Yeah.
they could make anything work.
Also,
Especially
they've run out of ideas. That's like the whole joke because they keep making the sequels.
Yeah.
But like they made so many good ideas.
Like honestly, they validated
before.
themselves
Yeah.
forever. Like,
As long as
And
they
even
keep-
this
as long as they
newer
keep
one
making
doesn't
money.
look great.
oh,
This
the Onward.
with like Chris Pratt and someone.
Oh, you
Yeah.
don't think it
Yeah.
looks very good?
No, or it looks like DreamWorks. Honestly, it just looks like a DreamWorks movie.
It
I just think Inside Out was like, damn, that feels so long ago. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that was a recent animation one that was.
That was really good, but
The
like
thing is,
that's
a recent Pixar.
With animation, you can do so much, so it's not like they ever really will run out of ideas because they can pretty much do anything. So I don't really think.
Yeah.
I just think the deadline of having to make 2 movies every year does not help at all.
Does not.
yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
get why they can't, like,
It's all about money.
every
man.
time, yeah.
Star Wars.
Give it time.
Speaking of stuff that people are taught or speak for sequels,
Social network.
the
The social.
well, because
network.
people are like, some people are like, Social Network should get a sequel. I don't think it should.
It
but-
shouldn't.
But just because Facebook has gone so far. But so my pick for this video, or not video, the year 2010 is The Social Network. I just... This is a movie about Mark Zuckerberg and the beginning of Facebook. Neither
Go
did I.
ahead.
But so the beginning of Facebook and just really just more of a character study of Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
And I love how this movie delves deep into like just obsession and how far you're willing to go for something and what you're willing to lose because of it. Because he just became an instant just asshole and then is just like loses pretty much everything he had in order to become one of the richest people ever. But the story of it is just also great because like just the idea of like stealing everything and how it's like it wasn't really his idea but he did it, which goes along with just like today's culture of just like what am I allowed to do in movies as well too. So I really like that aspect. It's just really ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was
I
saying really quick earlier that Scott Pilgrim isn't my favorite film of the 2010. This is my favorite film of 2010. It's fucking awesome. But go for what you were just
The
saying.
dialogue
Go
in
for
that
Chris?
movie is something that really stands out for me because it's really fast paced and quippy.
That's
And just
Sorkin.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and that's like something I don't see a whole lot in movies.
It's also just back and forth between like past and present.
Yeah.
'Cause the present is more of like at the law at the law firm or whatever, wherever they are, and they're just like going back and forth on like, because his one friend is suing him because he like cut him out basically, and the dialogue is amazing. It has just like amazing one-liners. He's just like, if you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you would have invented Facebook.
I also like I don't know the whole sequence by heart, but I like when he's talking about like, oh, you cheated on the Harvard thing. And he's like, yeah, oops. And then when he what was it? Eduardo was saying like, but you like, you know, fucked with me with the whole like chicken thing and like the cannibalism thing, like that whole thing. And then he I don't remember the exact sequence. But the last line
my
when he
next
says
movie is the
when he
thing.
says no, actually, when we brought this up, he defended you and tried to like hide it. He said, "Oops." Like that was crazy.
Yeah, it was just, this is the role Jesse Eisenberg was born to play.
Yeah.
There's no way he will ever do anything better. It's cool that our picks both have an actor that is like they can only play that. and
Yeah,
nothing
Michael
else.
Cera needed
one
to be
character.
Scott Pilgrim.
Michael
Yeah.
Cera
Jesse
cannot
Eisenberg-
really do anything other than Scott
The-
Pilgrim.
yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg is the definition of a nerd.
Yeah.
In an
A
actor.
nerdy asshole.
I like
In
how-
Zombieland, he's the same
Zombieland,
way.
he's the
That is
same
why
exact
he
character.
sucks
In Zombieland, he's
in
at least
Batman v
likable.
Superman.
He's likable in Zombie.
Yeah,
movies.
yeah,
And that
I
was
guess,
before
yeah.
The Social Network.
So basically, the
Interesting.
gist of Social Network is that Lex Luthor and Spider-Man create Facebook.
Is it the same in Now You See Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's more assholey.
I have seen it. I just haven't seen it in a while.
He has something.
I just can't remember.
Up with him.
I mean, he's always the same, just because that's who he is as a person.
yeah, he
But,
has like anxiety or something
he
where he's
definitely-
always kind of talking like this all the time, and it's really
He
fast. and
definitely
just happens
amps it up
immediately.
in that movie. I feel. I think that's the furthest he's gone in terms of his
Yeah.
very non-wide spectrum.
Yeah.
So our next year,
2011.
Arguably the worst
best
of
of
the
the decade.
This year,
I'll
If
take you
you're
back.
in golf rules.
I'll take you back. Nothing happens.
yeah.
I'll take you back.
And,
So picture this.
There's a few gems and nothing
Hopefully they
else.
were-
What was I doing in 2011?
In 2011,
I was entering high school.
yeah, I was probably worried about some English test or something the next day.
I was playing Black
I was-
Ops Zombies.
Yeah, I was
I
probably
definitely didn't know
I
that
was
I
playing
liked
Halo
movies at that
Yeah.
point. But
One of the two.
I think 2011 also gets knocked down though, just because there's a lot of great ones that are hidden, and
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people saw a lot of great ones. Like mine is Drive. I fucking love
I
Drive.
haven't seen it, but I really want to.
Vroom,
It
vroom.
looks so good.
It's
What's it about, Kanan?
so,
What is it about?
So many people, because they marketed this movie in a way that it wasn't that at all. They kind of made it really actiony looking and stuff like that, and a lot of people were disappointed after they saw it because they were like, it was a lot more boring than I thought it would be. But it was really not about the car chases or anything like that at all. It's what this is like peak Gosling, because there's so many movies like this. There's Drive and The Place Beyond the Pines and Only God Forgives, where he's just like a really quiet guy, and I think he plays that perfectly. That like he's the most just like, I'm able to show how much emotion I need to without or with doing the littlest possible, and Drive just also has like some of the most amazing cinematography and colors I've ever seen too.
Yeah.
I love when pink is incorporated really well, which it also is in Blade Runner 2049, another good quiet Gosling movie.
Gosling will appear a lot in this video in a lot of his
Yeah.
films. Like,
Yeah, we'll tell him to get out, but he'll come in a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Drive just has I can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's just like way more like deep than anyone ever really thought it could be.
yeah.
And so I just love it for that reason.
So speaking of super deep, what's your film?
So 2011 sucked. I like this next film a lot.
I also think
but
if we were there, if we lived in 2011 and
you
like
did.
watched,
I
but
didn't
like
live in-
watched movies.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You weren't even born I wasn't born yet.
But like if we watched movies in 2011, because it wasn't until 2014 when I was like, I want to make movies.
Yeah, but
So
my
I
pick
feel
for
like if we were there, then
you're gonna
you
burp. My pick for 2011 is a film called Super 8. It's basically it's kind of like The Goonies mixed with Cloverfield in the sense that it's this group of kids that are like a bunch of young filmmakers, and they discover this train that crashes and there's alien shit going on. And it's very, very, I haven't seen the film in a long time, so I only picked it because I needed to. But I liked it a lot at the time, so maybe it actually is pretty good. Yeah. Also, I would have done Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but I've also not seen that in a long ass time. But I love that.
So here's the movies I haven't seen in a while,
Yeah,
and kind of like I think.
Like I said, 2011 I did not like that year.
One thing that I did like about 2011 was my movie.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible: Gross Protocol.
Right.
Gross Protocol.
It
was gross.
It was a gross protocol. But Ghost Protocol is my favorite Mission Impossible movie.
It's a good one.
I'd agree.
I think that that is kind of just your most classic type of just like go out to the movies, watch an action adventure.
Yeah,
Don't just sit
understandable.
down and like kind of just block out the world for a little bit. That's pretty much all this movie is. It's nothing crazy, but I actually do remember going to the movie theater, watching this one, and enjoying it a lot. I rewatched all of them recently leading up to Mission Impossible 6 that came out this past year.
2 years ago.
This past
Technically. Because it was 2018.
Oh, okay.
It's 2020.
Yeah.
It's 2020, guys. So
Yeah.
I
It'll be
rewatched
the
them
end
all.
of 2020 when this comes out, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I rewatched them all, and I just remember when I got to Ghost Protocol, I'm like, this one is just actually way better than all the other ones.
That's the one
too.
that like started the trend of like Mission Impossible is now like really big and popular. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
It was
the,
a revival.
the first movie was good, and then the second one, I think that's the one most people were like, that one was just bad, and
Yeah.
third was just like, it's pretty good, kind of on par with one, and then 4 is like elevated.
Yeah,
it.
4 was just like a lot better. There's something that the Mission Impossible series does a lot is, well, Tom Cruise is in it the entire, like, he's the main guy throughout the entire series, but they go through different characters and they like cycle out different
Bad
actors.
guys,
Like
too.
who's Hawkeye? Fucking
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. He's in it in Ghost Protocol, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
They go through him. Vince,
Vaughn.
not Vince Vaughn or something Vaughn. The big black guy.
From Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah.
Ving Rhames.
Oh.
Ving
Rhames,
Rhames, that's his
yeah.
name. He's in it. He's really good in that. But they do that a lot, where they cycle out characters, so the story never really gets dull because it's different stories every time.
Yeah.
And especially the characters and the stories they have in this one's particularly are really fun. One of the best and probably one of the most iconic kind of just scenes from the Mission Impossible.
Bless you.
God bless you.
From the Mission Impossible series is when he puts on the sticky gloves and he
Oh,
climbs
yeah.
out the
Yeah.
outside.
I mean, that's
on
just
the windows.
awesome.
That honestly
That
is
shit's
probably something that it's like, wow, that's badass if that actually happened in real life.
I mean, he did climb. Obviously, he didn't have the
Wait.
fucking sticky gloves, but he did climb it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He did climb the actual building, and he was actually that high up.
That's like the start of Tom Cruise doing the insane shit, right? Because
Yeah.
then he dangled to the plane, and then the most recent one, he
Yeah.
flew a
He
helicopter.
jumped out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
And he's a
And
Scientologist, so that's pretty crazy.
and he's
Yeah.
like 60, so... It's
What
just
I like
great.
about
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, for his age, that's crazy.
because I think of it,
I
Mission
can't even do
Impossibles as like
And
in
you're
half.
like...
And I'm 2.
You were
I was
born when
born,
this movie
yeah.
came out.
the
We're gonna say that the entire
Mission
time.
Impossibles. I like that because I think of them as like the first 3 and the last 3, and the last 3 are really nice because I feel like they just know what they are and they don't try to be more than what they are.
Yeah.
They don't try to delve too deep into story and stuff. They're really just like, how can we up the ante
Yeah.
to this action
Yeah, crazy
every
action
time?
set pieces.
And they do it really well, honestly.
And
Yeah.
It's nowhere near just like my favorite movie ever or anything.
Yeah.
They're just like really solid every time.
I can't really think of a reason to say, I'm not gonna watch it, because it's just a fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when you're with people, you're like, oh wow, that was super cool.
Mhm.
That's the basic gist of this movie in particular.
The most recent one, Mission Impossible Fallout, was fucking awesome.
Yeah, the last one is really good, but I still think
damn
this
good
But
time.
we are in 2011, so let's
Yeah.
not talk about movies outside of this
Good point,
year.
good point.
Right, okay.
That's
There are other movies that came out in 2011, right?
There is one big movie that came out, and
There's
it's
only
all,
one other.
It's
Okay.
all I cared about in 2011. It was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Harry Potter was my entire childhood, essentially. I went to the midnight release of every movie starting with Prisoner of Azkaban since I was 7 years old, and I was obsessed with it. And it was the conclusion of this epic saga of 8 movies, and it took the world by storm. It was the highest grossing film of the year. And honestly, my pitch for this is, because Connor, you really haven't even seen Harry Potter, right? So like Harry Potter, what is Harry Potter to you? Like, why have you never watched it?
Why have I never watched it?
Yeah.
Because I didn't wanna.
Yeah, it kind of seems like nerdy. Probably.
It's not even that. That's
Yeah.
not the reason. Obviously, I'll watch anything.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars, and that's nerdy. I mean, Star Wars is way more mainstream now, so I don't really think it's considered to be
Yeah.
nerdy. And people who say that are stupid.
Lord of the Rings.
But
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
is
but
Nerdy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I watched Lord of the Rings. I don't really have a reason that I
Yeah.
haven't.
Yeah.
I think definitely one of the biggest things with sagas like this, it's like, wow, that's a lot of fucking movies
Yeah.
that I need to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
I
think
don't
that's
know a
the-
lot of people who have just like watched it all after it came out.
Yeah, that's
It's,
yeah.
it
like
is very
Daniel's
much
the only
like
one.
it's very much like
You watched it at
everyone
the
watched
time.
it as it came out, and so it's just everyone still loves it to this.
And
day.
also, even the first film was really long. Like, isn't
Oh,
it
yeah,
like
they are
yeah,
long.
like
they
movies.
averaged like 2.5 hours.
yeah.
But yeah, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 really sent off the story with a bang. It was one of the best ones. Despite
way
that,
to end an 8-section fantasy thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unlike
That's
Game of
funny.
Thrones, is the joke.
We will.
Yeah, I understood that joke.
We will.
That's a lot of things.
Refrain from going.
Harry
into this.
Potter.
We're not talking about TV.
Harry Potter had a very its life was very like odd because throughout the series it changed directors yet never sucked like a certain other series that changed directors.
Why are we looking at
and
me?
fell
I didn't
apart.
do it.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you're the one who
Why did
complains
you
the most
mess up
about-
Game of Thrones, Connor?
Why'd you fuck up Star Wars?
Dude, because I wanted to.
Either way, Harry Potter actually nailed it. So if you wanted to watch a big series that actually ends greatly and never really sucks ever, Harry Potter is it. Harry Potter is a wonderful story that
Yeah,
I've
anyone
never
can
heard
relate
that. I've
to.
never really
That
heard.
was planned the entire time.
It was
Yeah.
planned the entire time, and they followed through with that plan.
And
That
they
is
had an
true.
outline. They had a
I
roadmap.
have never heard any bad things about Harry
Yeah.
Potter. to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
And
What I
it
love
really-
about Harry Potter 2 is that like it's easy to say the best one or the last one is the best one, but I wouldn't knock anyone who says pretty much any of them is their favorite.
The third one is considered the best one by a good amount of people because that's one where
Is
they
that Goblet of Fire?
no Prisoner of
Prisoner
Azkaban.
of
Fuck.
Azkaban.
Yeah, that's
I
that's
don't
my-
know shit.
Prisoner of Azkaban
That's
because the
the only
first
one I knew.
because Harry Potter starts out as like a children's series.
What-
It's still like
Other than the
dark and
first two,
interesting.
you could
The
name
first
any
two-
of them and I'd be like, sure.
Yeah, it starts out as kind of for
Yeah,
kids, but then
I've seen the
as
first one,
as the
but
characters grow
long
up,
ago,
the
and I
tone-
didn't like it. I
Yeah.
was like, this is kind of kiddie.
Yeah,
And I was
as the
like,
characters grow up, the tone changes, and the third
Yeah.
one really had a drastic shift where the characters are 13. So it's like, all right, we're gonna be more serious.
All right,
They got
puberty.
They got a new director, Alfonso Cuarón.
Yeah.
who's really
Yeah.
big, and he directed the third one. He kicked ass with
Who
it.
directed the first two?
Christopher Columbus, and then after that was Mike Newell for the fourth one, and then David Yates for the 5th through 8th.
And what's crazy too is they had two
Like David
Dumbledores as
Yates?
well.
David Yates,
And
What else has
Quaron's
he done?
Harry
fucking
Potter.
Harry Potter, dude.
Chris, they
I
also
don't know,
were
but
forgetting they had two Dumbledores too.
They had
Yeah.
two Dumbledores as well because the actor who played Dumbledore in the first two fucking died, dude.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very
he fucking
sad.
died.
Yeah, Richard Harris.
I didn't even know that. So
Yeah.
they changed actors.
Yeah.
They had to.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's fucking crazy.
And
You'll
Quaron's
definitely-
definitely the best
I do
director
think it would
to
be-
come out of that group. So
Yes,
I get
yeah.
that's also the reason
He's
why a
the
lot of people
household
say
name. Or
Christopher
Christopher
Azkaban
Columbus.
is the
What did
best.
Christopher Columbus do? He did Home Alone.
He sailed
right?
the ocean.
Yeah.
he discovered America.
Well, like way before
Yeah,
that.
so he killed a lot of natives.
He killed some people.
It's like, well, yeah, well, way before he ever directed movies, he like founded America.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
But yeah, so Harry Potter, fantastic series. If
I do think
you want to binge watch a TV show, fucking Harry Potter.
I think
it's
it would
all
be
the same now.
a cool idea if I like sat through and watched them all, and then
Maybe not in a row. Maybe like one a day or something.
yeah, no, not all like in
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah,
session,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
the videos of people who have never
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
Star
yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
I don't think I've seen one of nobody who's seen or someone who hasn't seen all the Harry Potters.
Yeah.
And even if there is, I don't care. I'll do
yeah.
it.
Because that's cool to document something and like look at something as its own preserved like
Yeah.
organism of
Yeah.
just watching and seeing someone experience something for the first time. in cinema at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
When you introduce somebody to a movie and you're like, I was waiting for this specific moment for an 8-movie saga. That's
Yeah.
basically a TV show.
Yeah.
So
Harry Potter is the series
which is
that-
way more epic and way bigger budget too.
Harry Potter began the trend of YA novels being adapted into movies and
And
sagas
2
and
parts.
stuff, and 2 parts. It
Yeah.
it really
the
started.
first movie to do that.
Pretty sure, at least for
At
big.
at
movie
least, like,
series,
mainstream, like Godfather. I mean, but that's like more of
that
different.
doesn't count.
That's
Yeah.
different though.
Yeah, the Harry Potter started, and then Twilight and Hunger Games followed that trend, and those are the only successful ones, really, because Narnia failed. Lord of the Rings isn't really YA, so it doesn't really count. And also started same
What
year
is
as,
YA?
young adult.
So all these like post dystopian whatever
Maze
stories,
Runner,
like Divergent,
Maze Runner wasn't
Yeah.
as successful, but
Percy Jackson, and the
Because the books for Maze Runner, I read all the books for Maze Runner, and those were huge. I don't understand how the books were bigger than the movie. That had the best potential ever.
yeah,
Fuck that up.
the first movie was good, and then
Yeah,
they just
the second
downfalled more
yeah.
and more.
It just because everything with the young adult dystopian shit all just does the same stuff, and that's why they all fail.
The adults are bad. The kids will save the day.
yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Same shit.
So I think
But,
we are.
I don't
we
know
are now-
about any of those. It's the year's only 2012 right now,
and we're all gonna
Yeah.
die.
and we're all gonna
Oh,
die.
no!
Dude, the world ended that year, and
The
it sucked.
2012 movie that came out in 2009 said so.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
That movie, by the way, is so stupid. I love the part. I love the part where he says like, "Get in the fucking car." when the
So that's your movie you're gonna talk
yeah,
about,
that's
right?
my movie. So guys, 2012. No, I'm just fucking.
But
with you.
2012, I
I'm just fucking with
I think
you,
it's
dumbass.
another pretty bad fucking year, honestly.
It's
I-
better than 2011 though.
It's
Oh,
a
Easily,
little.
it's easily
It's
better
bigger.
because
Oh,
of
2011 I feel like has more hidden gems than
More uncut.
more
gems.
uncut gems
Yeah.
than 2012
Hey,
does.
let's keep it 2012, okay?
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, but 2012 had probably the biggest at the time superhero trilogy to finish,
Yeah.
and what
or
was it,
superhero series.
Spencer?
The Dark Knight Rises.
You looked at me like I don't know.
The
Dark Knight Rises.
He just looks over. I honestly have no fucking clue.
Here's
He's like,
This chair is like
I'm gonna
fucking.
go for it.
Okay, so The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight, best comic book movie. Anybody who doesn't think that is not
Wrong.
informed.
Yeah.
But
Just
they're
wrong.
not enlightened. Dark Knight Rises. A lot of people give it shit. A lot of people say like, "Oh, it's a big downgrade from Dark Knight," which I guess, I mean, but
I think
considering
the shit it's given, I think is pretty well deserved.
It's the plot holes that are.
there are a lot of
Yeah.
plot holes. Yes,
Like
the script
Rises?
is
Rises, yeah.
the script struggles at times, but come on. It is so fucking awesome. Like there are so many great scenes in that movie. Everything with fucking Bane is awesome. This was kind of the film that really put Tom Hardy on the map.
Yeah.
Like it was really so. We probably
And
wouldn't
you
have
don't
gotten.
see
He
his
just
face.
did Warrior the year
And he's
Yeah.
before.
supposed to be big, fucking swole, even though he's shorter than Christian Bale.
Which is crazy because one of the things I saw online was like Tom Hardy's so great with using his eyes for acting because
Yeah.
you never see his fucking
Nolan
face.
always does
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
him.
They're like, I don't fucking want to look at you, okay?
Yeah. I guess he was also in Inception, so it wasn't
Yeah.
even the first time he worked with Nolan.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people left Inception.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo,
dude,
Tom
like-
Hardy though.
When the first time I watched Inception, I didn't even know Tom Hardy was in the movie.
Yeah,
I guess
was
That was
like, wow.
more meant for like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt
yeah,
type
because he had the
to
fight
be-
scene in the hallway.
to
so.
be like he's gonna be a big star because he
Yeah.
also just did 50-50.
I guess
before.
also this was the film to introduce the Tom Hardy mumble.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
the Tom Hardy mumble that we've seen in other films like like The Revenant and Mad Max, where it's just it's just a meme.
Everything darkness is your
The thing is, though, with the plot holes in this movie, I think nowadays there are a lot of movies where it's like, there are some series that are like in the stars and there's wars and stuff, and those ones have some holes in their plot, and those ones are really hard to overlook. But in Dark Knight Rises, honestly, you can totally overlook these and just have a great time watching this
Exactly.
movie. So that's why I
Well,
like
yeah,
about this.
I think it is hard to overlook, but either way, it's just super fun because
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, oh, every single cop went down underground to try and find that, and then so
Yeah.
now
And, like,
every cop is stuck there.
There's more
Like,
stuff
really?
that we could talk about, but it's like it would get into spoiler
It closed
territory.
off the trilogy very well, though, and
Yeah.
it felt
Yeah,
like
and
a
it
conclusion
ends.
to it.
Yeah.
It ends
It tied
awesome.
together the first two movies very
Yeah,
well.
definitely.
And especially after having the fucking Joker in The Dark Knight, it was like,
Yeah.
how the fuck are they going to follow this up well? And Tom Hardy's Bane is a really good successor to the
Yeah,
Joker.
exactly.
I don't think anything could have been better.
Yeah, nothing could have
Mm-hmm.
been better, but Bane was really fucking good.
Yeah. We got our action out.
Yeah.
This-
After the
this
night,
year-
after the Dark Knight rose, a moon rose. Sorry.
There are
I had to do that one.
there are two rises in here. Our other ones have a little bit of comedy in them. My pick is a Moonrise Kingdom,
Which I believe only us two have seen.
I don't even know what that
Yeah.
is.
I've never even
Um,
heard it, but I just
I'm
wanted
just
to do the
fucking
segue.
stupid.
Wes Anderson is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah,
I
he's
just,
pretty fucking good.
Along with Edgar Wright, I'd probably say even more so. I think Wes Anderson is the most stylistic director ever.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually probably just his most normal movie.
It's
where-
it's the most accessible, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
like if someone were to watch a Wes Anderson movie, I would probably suggest this one.
it also contains one of my favorite shots probably in all of cinema
I'm just not-
Yeah.
on the beach when they have the record player and
Yeah,
they're dancing.
and they're
There's
just
something
dancing.
about that that's just like so like gorgeous and poetic and just beautiful. Like every time I see that scene, I just immediately am like, wow.
What I love about Wes Anderson is that he's very like, it's so weird that it's so unbelievable how how this stuff all kind of happens, but it's just like very just like poetically beautiful, like you said, pretty much. How it's just like, it just seems so real when these two people are talking to each other. And so the story's about a kid. He's like a Boy Scout, Cub Scout, whatever it is in that movie. And he's kind of, it's like sleepaway camp or whatever. He's kind of like, fuck this, I'm running away.
Yeah.
And he grabs Kara Hayward, which is this girl who's like a big, she's into plays and stuff.
Yeah.
And they,
She was one of the birds, right? And
yeah, they both get together, and he's kind of like, I'm running away, want to go with me? And she's kind of like, okay, sure. They're both kind of people who are like, there's nothing for me here. I love the there's nothing for me here, so fuck it kind of stories.
Yeah.
But this is actually just between like two like 13-year-olds.
This is this is the film about young love.
Yeah.
Like this is the number one. And it's also just like they did a really good job finding these child actors. Like they're I don't really know what else they've done, but these two kids in the movie are really good actors, and the chemistry between them, like I don't know why, it felt really innocent and sweet. Like everything between them, it was great.
Yeah, I love Moonrise.
It's a good movie.
This was a good decade for comedy, I would say. This one might be the biggest one to come out of the decade, honestly.
I'd say arguably this is probably
like the best just straight up comedy.
in terms of straight up comedy, buddy cop, one of the best buddy cop movies of all time, I'd say. This came out around the time where it's like I was becoming a teenager, so it's like, oh, I'm gonna like I started
You're a
watching.
teenager. You weren't even.
You're like 3 right
Oh
now.
shit! So I was becoming 3.
Okay,
and,
nice.
but like this is the time where like kids start watching movies that are like rated R and stuff.
Yeah,
Like people
yeah.
get more. So when this came out, this is the most prime opportune time.
It was cool.
to watch this type of movie.
Yeah,
And I
it
thought
was kind of like, we're allowed to now.
Yeah.
They're
so
wrong. Oh, they said fuck.
like this definitely was like the first movie where it's like everybody's like cursing all the time. It's just loud. There's actually a lot of action in this movie. for being-
Yeah.
And still is a good comedy by itself. Channing Tatum, this is probably
It just like
my,
holds up.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite Channing Tatum movie. Not that I really watch Channing Tatum, but this is probably his best role. Jonah Hill's like good in a lot of stuff, but this is once again probably my favorite role with him, and they just work really well together.
Maybe my favorite Skinny Jonah.
But like those two, I think there's a lot of stuff that people say about like chemistry with actors. I think that is the definition of chemistry.
Yeah,
with
they
actors.
have
work
crazy
so
chemistry.
fucking well together. Like people say like, oh, Bad Boys, like, oh, you got that, but there's nothing like 21 Jump Street. Which
There we go.
Yeah.
He hadn't said the name of the movie yet.
Oh, really?
Oh shit! You just kept going. I was like, and the movie is.
Like,
The
do you want to
movie
tell
is
us what your
21
movie
Jump
is?
Street.
21 Jump Street.
We're talking about 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Did I not say it? It's good. But yeah, 21 Jump Street, fucking fantastic ass movie. Love that shit. Arguably one of the best comedies of the decade. Probably my favorite. I can't think of anyone else that I just...
Because in terms of straight up comedy, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of like comedic stuff in certain movies, but like
but if you
the term comedy also just has a bad rap too.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
But, like
if you say like I want to go see a comedy, most of them are shit films, of course.
Yeah.
But this one is done pretty well, and I think this one will stand up for a while. I can always go back and watch this one. Have a great.
The only one that compares is The Hangover, but that's at the end of the 2000s, so it doesn't.
We're
really...
trying to keep this for each year, so let's not talk
And
about
I wasn't dead.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive
dead.
yet.
So my pick
For this
is
year?
a very badass movie. I feel like that would be a word to describe this
Badass?
movie. Badass.
Badass.
What other word?
My favorite Tarantino movie, Django Unchained. This movie is fucking awesome. It's funny. It's intense. It's really cool and sleek. And I think it's Tarantino's most like accessible movie because Tarantino's really stylistic and really wacky with his timelines and the way he shoots stuff. But Django is a very straightforward movie in a way, and I think anyone who likes movies would
Anyone
enjoy.
who says otherwise,
Even if you
sucks.
don't like Tarantino, I think you could still enjoy Django Unchained.
Yeah, that'd be the one. Same with like Wes Anderson. If no one's seen Wes Anderson, I would suggest Moonrise Kingdom.
That's the place you should start.
If no one has seen Tarantino, I would suggest Django. I think.
I think that you were saying with comedy in Django Unchained, holy shit, Samuel L. Jackson in this movie is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I don't know what it was, but there's that one shot where the camera zooms in on Samuel L. Jackson. He goes, "No!"
Yeah.
It's so funny. That made me laugh my ass off.
I will say, Quentin Tarantino is one of the best directors in terms of going to different time periods and doing it really fucking well. Like, you would never know that he was making a movie about Nazis and then going to Germany and all that shit right before, like it's like or right after that, like because and like that's so crazy that he has such range, and I think it's done really well in this movie specifically.
And I think westerns might be like his favorite genre that he likes to copy because all of his movies have western aspects about it, like western meaning like spaghetti western with cowboys and stuff.
Yeah.
But this was his very first straightforward western movie, and it was his seventh movie. Also, Hateful Eight has, or not Hateful Eight, sorry. Django Unchained has. I'm trying to keep it to 2012. I'm not trying to talk about movies outside of 2012.
I don't even know what that is. That I'm intrigued.
It hasn't
by
happened
it.
yet. We're in 2012.
I don't know why 8 people are hating.
Django Unchained is one of my favorite
Hating on
shootouts in any
Oh,
movie
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
The mega shootout in the film
With the
is
Tupac,
just
the
wonderful.
Tupac song was a great addition.
It's just so
The music
fucking
in this
cool.
movie is really good because it's definitely not what you would expect to be in a
Yeah,
western.
it's western music and then nowadays rap.
Yeah, like modern rap. That's awesome. I think that definitely adds to the atmosphere about because it's definitely a movie that touches on like culture and stuff too. So it works really well.
Yeah.
I love the part where the door opens and it goes.
Yeah.
I think that's badass with revolvers with you have to
I love the one where he jumps into the scene and he like has his back up against another guy and then lands and shoots and it has like this weird sound effect.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
I'm trying to think what movie has the like bloodiest stuff because I think this might have some of the bloodiest
Tarantino's
stuff.
really
Yeah.
bloody.
If we're talking
The Evil
gunfight,
Dead
Kill-
remake.
Evil Dead remake is also very bloody. Kill Bill is very bloody, so much that they had to make it black and white.
oh yeah.
And I know what that is because that happened before 2012, which is now.
Yeah.
So I know.
Which
about
is
Kill
right
Bill.
now.
Evil Dead, I don't know what that is. The
Action
original?
Action delves deep, just like in this decade. I think there's so many great action movies. Like in 2013, near the end of 2013, really, there was a big war movie that happened.
Yeah, I was just
Wait.
double checking. I was
So
making sure.
where are we in 2013 now?
In 2013, we're like, come on, Obama, he got a second, he got a second chance.
He's back.
Not
He's
second
back.
chance, but
Mitt
he's
Romney
back
did not pass the test apparently.
Yeah.
But one of the best movies about a true story this year came out. It's called Lone Survivor. I think in terms of whenever you see a movie where it says, "Oh, based on a true story," it's just like, okay, like I mean, is that supposed to change anything? But when you watch this movie, it's like, wow, like 4 people actually had to go through all of this shit in this movie. It puts a new perspective on like special teams forces that actually go overseas and stuff, and you really feel for all the characters in the movie because this movie is brutal.
Yeah,
the action in this is just very overpowering because. This movie's about 4 soldiers essentially. It's a true story. It's not really spoilers if I talk about it.
It's called Lone Survivor.
Yeah, Lone Survivor.
It's about a real guy who went somewhere. I forget where the movie takes place. Somewhere probably
Not America.
Yeah, overseas.
I doubt it's America.
Goes with his 4 soldiers and. They get overpowered, and then one by one, obviously, they get picked up till it's just the lone survivor, and the trials and tribulations that this guy had to go through. It's the definition of suffering, and it really is emotional. It's one of the most emotional war movies that I've ever seen, and I think the action is superb. Superb,
Really brutal.
Yeah, very brutal.
What's really cool about that movie is the entire set piece of Lone Survivor takes up like 40 minutes of the movie is just one shootout.
I
It
do
goes
love
on for a
how
while.
when movies are just like it's all about this one thing where it's like it was I guess because the first half isn't really it's the second it's like basically literally the second half is when it starts and then it's just like from then on it's just like one whole big story and then like the other like 12 Angry Men is like a perfect example of just like it's all in one place. But I love when movies do that and then they added so much more hard shit to do just because it's just a huge action thing. And I love how each of the 4 characters are just like different in their own way.
Yeah.
And there's like the leader and then there's like the badass guy and like the main character and kind of the pussy guy.
Yeah, the pussy guy.
Yeah, and you're the one loner's like sniper guy.
Yeah.
I think because I was watching actually recently an interview. I don't know how I came across this, but it was an interview with Mark Wahlberg and the guy that Mark Wahlberg was, the actual lone survivor.
Marcus
in real life.
something.
Marcus Lavelle?
Something like that. And they were talking to a reporter, and like when they were asking questions about the movie, like he was so passionate about it, even though it happened probably what was it like 15 years ago at this, or maybe 20 years ago at this point. It happened. It happened
a while ago.
Yeah, at this point. He was still so passionate about it, even in the interview, like very, very passionate about it. And it's crazy to think that stuff like that affects a person for the rest of their life. Like that is his defining moment in his life.
And we wouldn't really know about it if the movie wasn't made.
There's definitely way more stories like that will never be told.
Speaking of true stories, yours doesn't really do as much justice.
That's fine
But,
because mine's directed by Martin Scorsese, so it's just good. Wolf of Wall Street. This movie is so much fucking fun. Every time I watch this movie, I enjoy it more and more.
It's honestly the shortest 3-hour movie I've ever seen.
Exactly. It's so fast-paced, so thoroughly entertaining, and the last movie you would ever want to watch with your mom. My mom wanted to watch the movie with me.
And you were like,
and I was like,
fuck no,
we're not going to watch
Literally,
it
like, the
together.
second scene is him fucking blowing cocaine up a girl.
Out of a girl's ass.
Yeah.
Good
I
for
fucking
Leo.
watched this on a plane, so that sucks for people. It was a big thing though, because it was like March of 2014, which it wasn't a thing, right? As of right now.
Well, that's in the future.
Yeah.
So you're gonna watch it on a plane in the future.
But I remember it was so like all the December movies were now on on for planes, and so I got like so many people were watching that like on a plane. It was fucking cool.
Kind of a weird place to watch that movie though.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, but
Who
Wolf of
cares,
Wall
not
Street.
me.
Wolf of Wall Street's. It's like a perfect blend of comedy and drama. I feel like. I guess it's more comedy, but it's really fun and it deals with a lot of fucked up shit, but in just like a fun, happy spirited way, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, the main character is always an anti-hero because it's Scorsese, but like he's definitely a despicable human being. But you're just having fun just watching him build up his empire. When it gets really dramatic towards the end, those are probably my favorite scenes. Scenes between him and his wife. There's a certain scene that gets really lit that I really love.
Yeah.
This also put Margot Robbie on the map.
Yes. Yeah.
Because people just thought of her as like the hot girl from Wolf of Wall Street, and she turned into this amazing actress.
Yeah. That movie, I love all the scenes where he's just like talking to all of his employees and
Yeah,
stuff.
he's
That
giving
shit,
the big speeches.
that stuff is awesome. That is like some of the most hype shit I've
Yeah.
ever seen in a movie.
And this was the movie where Jonah Hill got fat again.
Yeah,
And
we
we-
just got back from 21 Jump Street, and how do you get so fat so fast? We don't know.
We see a new side of him that we never thought we'd see either. In one scene.
Oh yeah.
He jerks off. That movie is called Her.
One of
And
my
it's very
favorites.
similar to Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, very similar in
How
that
so?
they all have they
Girls.
both have the letter E and R in their names. But
Nice.
But this has probably like some of my favorite performances by people who like I love in other stuff too.
Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. This might be my favorite Joaquin Phoenix movie, and he's gonna make the Joker in a few years.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that.
Who
though.
know- who
would
That's
know that
way
in
the
24
future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this year, how would you? No.
I-
Well, I've heard Jared Leto
I've got
might
a
be playing
feeling.
the Joker.
Yeah,
soon.
Jared Leto.
Yeah, but I
was
heard
rumored.
they're gonna hate him.
But Heath
So-
Ledger only
Well,
died 5 years ago. What's
Yeah.
wrong
Dude,
with that?
nobody can ever make a Joker as good as Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Joaquin Phoenix though I think is a very underrated actor as well, just because he'll do like some amazing stuff that not everyone knows about, like in The Master, or
Yeah.
just like or Her. Real, I feel like Her is a pretty underrated one, honestly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely.
and Scarlett Johansson's amazing in it, and it's only her voice.
Yeah.
But if I had to describe this movie in one word, I think I would use beautiful.
Yeah.
I think
It's a beautiful film.
there's so many stuff they talk about in it where it just like hit me so hard. There's one scene where he's talking to Scarlett Johansson and he just says like, sometimes I wonder if I'm ever gonna feel any new feelings. If like if everything I feel for the rest of my life is just gonna be old versions of stuff I've already felt. And they just have so many deep shit like that in this movie. It's awesome.
Another thing I really love about it is, well, the soundtrack is just awesome.
Yeah.
But another thing I appreciate is that the film takes place in the future, like, but it doesn't specify when exactly. Because I think that really adds to the film because,
We're also
like,
just on our way to that.
like honestly,
Yeah.
I could so see something like that happening just right now.
Yeah,
Like,
I love
these-
movies like that where it's just like near future movies that like could really happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sci-fi feels real. It feels like
Yeah,
sci
it does-
non-fi.
It just seems like a drama, not a sci-fi
Yeah,
movie.
Have you guys ever seen the show Black Mirror?
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's
So-
like a relatively new thing right now, right?
Yeah.
It came out just this year,
Yeah.
actually. The
Wow,
first
okay.
No, it was 2011, just 2 years ago.
Yeah,
the first season
weird.
Came out,
So
I think.
Black Mirror's been around that long?
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I think so.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
3 years, that's long.
3 years is pretty long for a British.
But
TV
Black
show.
Mirror, that's kind of like what I'm relating this to. Black Mirror has a lot of stuff where they have some stuff that's completely way futuristic, but they have
Yeah.
some stuff that's like everything's normal, but then they have this one thing that's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's like a new advancement type thing.
Like
I
I mean,
love stuff like
there
that.
are some episodes though that feel like just real life shit. Like,
yeah, like this, like wow, this is real, and like it deals with a lot of real stuff,
Like-
which we're not going to talk about because
yeah,
this isn't a TV
yeah,
show
exactly,
podcast.
Exactly.
Your movie.
Yeah.
Fuck. What did I choose? Oh yeah, Gravity. Gravity.
Oh, the Dark Knight rose again. That's
Speaking of Alfonso
Okay.
Cuarón,
Gravity.
Yeah, he comes back.
Gravity kicks ass. Okay.
Back again.
This, you know, for a film. So for this film, this is a really short film. It's only like an hour and a half. But holy
Is
shit.
it really?
Yeah,
It's a
Gravity's
short.
very short.
Wow.
an hour and a half's not that
And
short, but okay.
like literally, I
Pretty
think
short, yeah.
For a movie?
It's an average.
like
horror movie.
15%.
movie.
15% of this film, I'm pretty sure, is just that first shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Long shot.
the first shot is, I think, like 16 minutes, something like that.
How many shots are in the movie? Probably like 40.
I don't even know.
no.
No, again.
But I just remember when this movie came out, it was like just a huge thing of like, you need to see this in theater.
Yeah.
And it was like people either loved it or hated it. There's so
Yeah.
many people against it.
Because the script,
I liked it.
the script is, it struggles sometimes, but it's a really really
cheesy,
good.
but yeah.
It's like from a technical standpoint, like this
Yeah.
is serious. Like this might honestly technically be like the best film of that.
If you want
year.
to feel like you're in space,
Yeah.
this is the movie.
Yeah.
It
It's
captures
really
the horrors of space. You will never, ever, ever want to go to space
and
after
not
watching
in a
Gravity.
sci-fi way, like an actual like this is what astronauts would deal with nowadays.
Yeah.
In
And
the
I
year
th-
2014,
Yeah.
2013.
2013. Yeah.
Sorry.
Almost. We're pretty much at the end of it. So,
Yeah.
You know, we went to December. Actually, all these are later movies, I think. I'm guessing
Fuck,
Her
you
was
know
like
that.
October.
you.
You can pretty much look at a movie and be like, was that the summer or December?
Love is Wolf of Wall Street. Was that December?
Yeah.
It was
That's a
pretty
Christmas
late.
movie, right?
Yeah.
It was
a
pretty
late-
late.
That's funny.
I mean, like, it's a Scorsese movie. It's gonna come out late in the
Christmas
year.
movie.
Yeah,
Wolf of
because of
Wall Street.
awards and shit.
I mean,
Let's take the whole
Yeah.
family
Now-
out
now-
for Christmas.
Nowadays,
See Wolf
I
of
think
Wall
that a lot of stuff releases like in the winter like slot.
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that don't,
yeah.
that don't
It's the
That's why you
awards.
look at a movie and go, either that came out in the summer or that came out in like October, November, December.
Yeah,
era,
well, the one that
era.
started, I mean, Avatar came out in winter and ended up being the #1 film in the world. That's sort of where people were starting to realize, yo, wait, winter, Christmas time. might
Winter
actually
kicks
be
ass.
A good time, like a second summer in a way.
Yeah, because winter has become more of like a
The better movies are coming out in the winter.
yeah. It's not as much like a summer thing anymore. Like the original Star Wars was a summer thing.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
and then,
what I-
now Star Wars movies come out in December.
What are you talking about? We don't have Star Wars has been gone forever.
Yo, I think Disney
Disney just
Marvel.
bought
Disney
Star
just
Wars.
acquired it.
Dude, is Disney gonna make a new trilogy that's really, 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 really bad? No!
2014.
I bet the first movie will be good.
Oh
at
my
least.
gosh, nothing's as bad as the prequel.
The last year in this part 1 video that we decided was going to be 2 parts from the beginning is 2014.
Which is my
Oh,
personal
lit year.
favorite year in the 2010s and also my personal favorite year of cinema. I probably
Yeah.
like this more than 1999, to be honest, just because I lived it.
Yeah,
like,
in terms of years we lived through, I think this is definitely the best one.
yeah. And it's the year that got me really into like filmmaking.
Yeah,
like
that
really.
too.
2014 was
Is
kinda
there a
the start
film
of
that you would like to talk about?
All right.
No.
No, just
film-
all of them. They're all so good.
The film that I'm going to talk about for 2014, also not my favorite of the year, but it is damn close. I seem to love this more than anyone else.
Which one?
I seem to love this film more than most people. I love Interstellar. All right, this film.
Nolan's back.
Nolan's back on this.
Back
On this.
again.
Interstellar. Okay, I know a lot of people think that it's stupid. I know that a lot of people have problems with the script, but my God, every single aspect of this film is so like fucking awesome to me. All right, Matthew
I know there's some
McConaughey.
stuff that's wrong,
It's
but
a
I
him,
love
it's
it
a
all.
him.
People don't talk enough about Matthew McConaughey's performance in Interstellar.
was
no,
fucking good.
he was
Yeah.
seriously so good.
That crying scene, some
there's-
of the best acting I've ever seen.
That scene where he's getting years of messages from his kids is like, that's honestly one of the best scenes in Nolan's entire film
Yeah.
career. That's crazy. And the ending, I personally really like. I know it's mushy love stuff, but I really like that whole thing. TARS, the little robot that looks like an ATM, a walking ATM, is so great. There's actually quite a bit of humor in it too. I think that the whole film is like really exciting just from start to finish. And I can't go without saying, Hans Zimmer's score in Interstellar. Honestly, okay, if Dark Knight didn't have such a good soundtrack, this is, I think, Nolan's best soundtrack, like for any of the Nolan films. It's really it's
Yeah.
fucked up good.
Goes off on that.
It is
Yeah.
fucked up.
It's so good, it's fucked.
It fucked me up, Hans.
I don't think, or I think people are too hard on that movie.
Yeah, they are.
way too hard. Because I feel like one of the biggest criticisms is like, fucking love conquers all kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like they do that in a like realistic way. I never went back and went, that's dumb.
It's
But-
just the lines of dialogue sometimes where they like
Yeah.
straight out
Sometimes,
say
yeah.
love is the one thing that can transcend time and space. Is where it's like, all right, Nolan, maybe you didn't need that
Yeah.
line being specifically said, but
Yeah.
dialogue's never been his strongest suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt Damon also, his character also kind of sucks.
Spoiler
But
alert.
oh yeah, he's in this movie.
When
I'm
that
so fucked.
when that casket opened and I saw him, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like he's
it
in
was,
this?
It was
Like,
cool being like, oh, Matt
Like-
Damon's in here. He did kind of suck, but what? I don't care. There's so much other great shit in this movie that just like
The black hole scene,
topples
the
it for me.
wormhole
Yeah.
scene,
Yeah.
docking.
oh yeah, that docking seat, edge of my seat shit right there.
Yeah.
And just like also everything with the daughter, like Murph.
Murph!
Yeah, Murph. That's the iconic thing from it. But like, honestly, the chemistry between her and Matthew McConaughey was so great, and I love the scene where he says like, don't let me leave like this, and she throws the watch, and then the book falls, and then that ties into something else. But next movie.
I know we're jumping ahead in time here, but what movie's considered worse in Nolan's repertoire? Dunkirk or this?
Not Dunkirk. A lot of people really love
Interstellar.
Dunkirk.
Yeah.
I think
Interstellar
a
and
lot
Dark
of
Knight
people-
Rises are
Yeah.
the only ones that I've ever heard people have been like, these are bad.
A lot of people label Dark Knight Rises as his weakest, which is fucked up. I disagree.
But keeping the trend of sci-fi, my movie of 2014 is Snowpiercer. Again,
I haven't seen it, but I really want to.
You're the only. Oh, okay.
No, Connor and I are the only ones who've seen this one.
That's a good ass movie.
Yeah,
I really like that movie.
Yeah, this one is. Let me paint a picture for you.
2014.
Not in 2014.
No,
but
it's not in 2014.
This is like 20. I think 31. I think it's supposed to be like 2014 is when it started, and it's you jump 17 years in the future. But so the world ended. We had like not ice age. Like the world froze over.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like global warming type problems. Like climate is what is
Global
what causes-
cooling.
Yeah, global cooling. And so the world freezes over and no one's able to be outside anymore. This one guy though knew that this was going to happen, and he designed a train to go around the world and keep going forever and ever. And that's where the rest of humanity lives now, is on this one train that goes around the world forever. So we jumped 17 years after that, and I love how this movie is very much like has like societal undertones because
definitely
because the whole back of the train is like takes up like 80% of the train of the people who live on there, and they're like the poor people, and the further you go to the front are the richer people. And so the back of the train one day says, you know what, we're not gonna take it. And then so they decide we're gonna go and have a revolution, and we basically just want to know what the front of the train is like, and then have it be so that we are now in the front of the train.
And throughout the film, they just you just explore shit, and it's not like an undertone in this movie. I feel like it's straight up. It doesn't tell you, but it straight up throws it in your face. Like, if you don't see this, then you're not really understanding what this movie's about.
Yeah.
Which is, and it does it really well, actually. I think that's the best aspect of this movie. It's talking about, like, society.
There's a lot of twists and turns where it's like, well, shit, what would I do if I was up at the top? Or at the front of the train?
I mean, if I were...
It's like, what would I do in this position?
I mean, no matter what, though, the situation of having to ride around in circles on Thomas the Tank Engine for several years during the climate change is fucking just shitty.
It also just has... This is Bong Joon-ho, just like... I feel like it was the biggest challenge for him in any of his movies, and he pulls it off so well. Cinematically, it just has so many cool just sequences in it. There's one sequence where they have a bloody fight with a bunch of guards, and the train goes through a tunnel, so it just goes pitch black, and then there's just like little shots of light that they drive by, and so they'll be in slow motion, and it'll just have like light go across someone's face really slowly, like other people's faces,
which is pretty cool. Yeah.
And it was really cool. This movie's really cool.
And it's not going to be the only, maybe, Bong Joon-ho film that we'll find.
Bong Joon-ho's going to make more?
Yeah.
Who even is he? I don't recognize him yet.
Well, he just started doing American movies. He's been doing Korean movies and just started American.
I bet he'll keep up that trend of making American movies.
Yeah, I bet so too.
I bet
for
so.
At least like 2 of them.
And you did say that this was your favorite Chris Evans movie, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Because
I like this movie more than any Marvel movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that, but it is a good ass movie. Mm-hmm. There's only a couple problems that I had with it story wise, which I question it, but it's one of those things I can definitely overlook it. It's a good ass movie. The message is clear, and it's a fun watch for sure.
Spencer. What do you got?
I've already gone out.
Connor, what do you got?
You don't have anything.
So I'm mad. I am very mad that you didn't go to me because it's my turn. And speaking of mad, my movie is Fury.
Are you just engraved in fury?
Yeah, I am
now?
I am furious that I'm talking about
Don't
Fury.
shoot me with a tank.
For once, they have a movie that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I think it's only you two who've seen that one.
All right, let's go off.
Fucking do
Fury,
it.
right?
Fury.
World War II,
Badass
baby.
World War II.
Brad Pitt.
When this came out, I don't think I ever saw a movie in theaters about World War II yet.
Really?
I don't think so.
Huh.
What movies of World War II had you seen up to that
In
point?
theaters?
Yeah, like I don't think I had
Yeah,
seen.
I mean, this movie didn't have or this decade didn't have a lot of
I think I
just
saw
like
Inglourious
World War II
Bastards.
movies.
I definitely didn't see
In
Inglourious Bastards in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
didn't.
that's hardly what this is because this is about
Yeah.
the war. That is just the war's the setting.
Yeah, sure.
More,
Yeah.
more so. So, I was very excited.
Yeah.
I was very excited when this movie was coming out because obviously there's some great war movies. Saving Private Ryan being
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
And in this one, I was expecting. I was like, wow. I was like waiting for this to come out. I was like, wow, I could finally
Yeah.
get that feeling, but in a theater and experience it with other people. And honestly, it was very different from what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Because it focuses. It's very character driven, and it talks
It's just about the main 5 characters, the team.
as opposed to the whole war.
Yeah.
However, there are some amazing war stuff in
Yeah.
this. One of my favorite war shots ever is when they're just in their patrol in the tank. There's this one guy who their tank explodes in front of them.
Yeah.
Guy gets out on fire, jumps out, shoots himself because he doesn't want to go
Yeah.
through the pain of being on
Yeah.
fire. I think that got to me too. I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Like people did that. Like you don't want to see because you're not gonna. There's no way they could have survived that, especially in the 40s. Didn't have the type of medical stuff. That's the fastest way out, and that was crazy.
Yeah, and the movie focuses on a different aspect of the war that I hadn't seen yet, which was tank warfare.
Yes.
Because the whole movie, the tank is called Fury, so the whole movie's about this squad that are in charge of this tank. So
I thought Brad Pitt was called Fury.
and they're in the tank the whole movie. I mean, obviously they go out of it and stuff, but the whole point is that they follow the tank. They're in it. They're protecting it. That's the main thing. And that's just a different side of World War II that I hadn't seen in many movies.
Yeah, and I do like all the actors in it.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf was really good in it. He's like scary. Like he goes full on method with his acting in this one, and like his character's really weird and like fucked up.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Arguably one of his best roles.
Yeah, I was say.
Brad Pitt's good as always.
Yeah.
John
Brad Pitt
Bernthal.
gets overlooked as like this just like the hot actor.
Yeah.
but
He's
he's
like
he's an
crazy.
amazing.
He's just
actor.
consistently very, very good.
Yeah.
Like he's never like subpar. At least he'll be very, very good, if not amazing.
John Berthal.
John Bernthal, my fucking guy.
He plays John Berthal, but you know,
Of course.
But actually, wait, no, he plays like a John Berthal character, but like half the IQ.
Yeah,
So he's like a little.
He's
a
very.
little on the-
He's
on the
stupid.
scale.
But that's the thing because the character he plays, it's like the stupid guy
Yeah,
of the group. But what's cool about that though is it introduces the dynamic of everybody's very different.
Yeah, everyone's a.
But they are forced to work on this very complex machine together.
Yeah.
They all have to do their own job.
you got the new recruit character as the main character.
Yeah,
so.
and it really shows to you, even though you might have differences, if you lose a part of the engine or you lose something, it's going to be very hard to push on, which is very cool.
And there's this surprisingly emotional scene kind of in the middle of the movie where they interact with civilians.
Yes.
That was like, oh wow. Because Saving Private Ryan did that a little bit, but this one went even deeper with that idea of interacting with civilians, and then stuff happens and it was like, wow, okay, you actually got me, movie.
Yeah.
You got me.
Very good movie.
Bring us home with Whiplash.
Whiplash! This fucking movie
All
kicks
of
so
our
much
favorite-
fucking ass.
all of our
would
favorite year.
We would be damned if we go through 2014 without mentioning Whiplash.
Whiplash
Yeah.
is my third favorite movie of all time.
Maybe my favorite film of all time.
Really?
Maybe mine.
It's my second.
It's
Yeah.
It's a good ass movie to say the least.
It's fucking
And it's
incredible.
Connor's fourth.
Like,
Yeah,
So we can
let's
keep
It's,
on
it's,
thinking
the,
of
it's the
more.
time of your life
Yeah.
of our movie favorites,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah.
Let's see.
yeah, I would
Whiplash.
say for sure.
Whiplash, from the beginning, I was never interested in Whiplash because I was like, all right, a drumming movie? Okay, cool, I don't really care. But Spencer was one who convinced me to go see it because he said it was really good. And I watched the trailer. And honestly, that's one of my favorite trailers. of that
Yeah,
movie.
the trailer will immediately tell you,
Yeah.
like, okay, this actually looks pretty
I
fucking
don't
sick.
ever remember
Like,
watching the trailer.
The trailer is, the whole point is that it's the drums of...
Oh no, I have. What am I talking about? I 100% have.
Yeah. And it just builds up the whole trailer. And it's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's fucking cool and different. But this movie, for it being about drumming, is one of the most intense and passionate movies I've ever seen. The heart of this movie is if you've ever had a dream that you're chasing and you were willing to do anything you're willing to do anything you can to succeed in that dream, even go too far in a few places, then that's what this movie is about, essentially.
Yeah.
it's also at the heart of the movie is also just a relationship between teacher and student, and how far that dynamic can be pushed till some people may consider it to be too far, other people say not enough. That's the cool thing about this movie is everyone kind of has a different opinion, I feel like, of who's in the wrong, I feel like.
I will say Miles Teller and
J.K.
Simmons
yeah.
are fantastic.
J.K.
J.K. Simmons, this is my favorite role.
Oh, hands down.
This was
Easily.
hands down.
He is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And going into this movie, I was like, okay, like I get the premise of like how like
Yeah.
he's a dick.
Yeah.
But god damn it, watching the whole movie, I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
He is an asshole, but he's the best asshole I've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons
Don't quote
also.
me on
This is
that.
like the first. This is also like the first
You've seen a lot
movie.
of assholes.
I hope so.
This is like the first movie that J.K. Simmons was in where it like actually put him like actually like
On the map.
on the map in the
There's a lot
spotlight.
of on the map
Yeah.
movies.
But like he now has a huge role in a big.
What do you mean? He was in Spider-Man.
But,
with
like,
I mean,
Tobey
yeah,
Maguire.
people knew who J.K. Simmons
No, I know, but like
was,
for a motion
critically-
picture, like to be in the front and
Yeah.
center, like
Yeah.
this was definitely like the
Yeah.
film. This is the J.K. Simmons film.
Yeah, this movie.
Yeah, he definitely stole the show.
Yeah,
on that.
for being a really dark and intense fucking movie, what honestly stands out for me, like, obviously it's got an incredible story, it's very dramatic, it's intense, your heart will be thumping constantly throughout the movie, but it's also, like, slightly, I would say maybe unintentionally hilarious, because
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons is so mean to everyone that it ends up being, like, funny. Because
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
such creative insults and is such
Yeah.
a fucking asshole. It's so entertaining.
It's-
And what I love is all of his lines of dialogue were written. He didn't
Yeah.
have to improvise any of that. And like some of the insults are like, how the fuck do you come up
Yeah, how
with
do you
that?
come up with it, man? It's
It's
Damien
just so
Chazelle.
good.
Goddamn, you mad lad. You're so awesome.
Welcome to the world, Damien Chazelle.
Yeah,
it's
you're-
2014.
Yeah,
The
man.
ending is just also
That's one of my favorite
has one of the
endings.
most just different emotions in it ever, because you could just be like fuck yeah at the end, or you could really see I feel like every time I watch it I just get sadder and sadder, because I think of it as just like, oh my god, J.K. Simmons is one. It's like he's doing, it's just like this is his life is gonna be now. This is
Yeah.
what his life is gonna be now.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it as. But also, we have to go and say, fucking editing during that sequence.
Mm-hmm.
There's one shot where it's like towards the end of the solo where you see for the briefest, like literally, it's not even on screen for like a millisecond. Fucking blood is dripping down the symbol, and it's
Yeah.
immediately gone. And it's just like you soak in so much information of what's going on because of the editing. It is holy shit. I can't say enough good things about
I
Rick
also
Ross.
just love this shot where like he's drumming on 3 different things at a
Yeah.
time, and the camera just goes like whoosh, 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 whoosh on each new drum he's drumming on.
I think
fucking
it's also very cool that it started out as a short film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just one scene.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't intended to just be a short film.
yeah, but that's how
it was the-
that was the concept.
but it started out as just this one scene and fully fleshed out to still be amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
God they got Miles Teller to replace the...
Yeah, I didn't like that
yeah,
guy
sure.
at all.
Although he was in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
But yeah, Damien Chazelle.
I can't wait for your next movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't say enough great things about you, man.
Yeah.
We'll see what you do later.
So
that
that was
is
the first
it.
half of the decade.
Long ass half.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then be prepared for the second half
Part
to be
2
even longer.
coming soon.
Because now
2015 through 19.
2014 was when we all really started going to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We'll have more to say,
yeah.
Like,
and,
paying
we'll
attention to
remember
awards and Oscars.
and we'll remember
Yeah.
it more because it's recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, see you then. See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Bye bye, y'all.
Whatever.
Thank you.